All right, guys. It's that favorite time of the season for every coach in the world. Tryout season, recruiting season, said no coach ever. Now, if there's one thing that any advice that I could give parents or kids out there for that matter, it's if you have an idea of where you want to go, if you have a team that you have your heart set on, don't be flip-flopping. Don't talk to one coach, tell him one thing, and tell another coach something else. Don't be talking to 100 different coaches, especially at the young ages. I understand it's different when you get to the older levels because you're talking about getting into high school or college or whatnot. The younger levels, again, I've said it 1,000 times, is all about development. All about development. If you're shopping around and you're worried about one thing besides your child, your kid, getting the training that they need to succeed as they move on with this sport, you're in the wrong business. You're absolutely looking the wrong way. You're going the wrong direction. You should only be focusing on what can they do to make my child succeed? What can they do to make my kid better? That's all it is. If you're going out and you're looking for those rankings and you're looking for that super team, forget it. Forget it. It's not worth it. It really isn't. Because you're going to get those coaches out there that are going to look to put together that hotshot super team. And then you know what? 9 times out of 10, those teams end up blowing up at the younger ages. Parents start fighting. Kids start fighting. The parents get offended that the coach isn't bowing down to these kids. Why isn't my son on power play, penalty kill, first line, second line? Why isn't he on first line everything? Why isn't he goalie? Why isn't he starting? Why are you pulling him? Why are you doing that? Like, it always ends up crashing and burning and ending up being a disaster. It always does. Only a matter of time with those super teams that you're trying to put together. It doesn't work. It absolutely doesn't work. It hurts your kid in the long run because you're always in somebody's shadow or thinking you're in somebody's shadow. It's ridiculous. It absolutely is ridiculous. If I sign on with this team, what is this coach going to do to make my kid a well-rounded, complete player? Not the spur of the moment, not where, oh, he's a superstar at mites, squirts, peewees. Doesn't matter. It changes. In 1 year, it changes. As soon as you get to Bantam, it's the real sport. You're playing with hitting, you're playing with bigger kids, you're playing with faster kids. It doesn't matter. What did he do to get me to this point where I can compete, where I can go into the game and actually adapt and show my true skill? That's what you got to worry about. How did this coach make my kid a better player? How did this coach develop my son or daughter into the player that he is today? Again, I could be talking to a brick wall. There's always going to be those parents that are going to look for that out there, and that's fine. If you want to do this, you could go look for those super teams. Go ahead. I call them super teams because whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you call them. At the end of the day, I'm telling you, there's going to be issues, there's going to be fights, something's going to happen where everything's going to crash and burn. If you want your son or daughter to be in good hands, you'll look for the coach that's going to develop your kid. That's it. Seriously, that is it. And at the end of the day, that team looks really, really good on the computer. It's awesome. Looks great. They're in first place. They got all the points in the world. It looks great. You could type in YouTube and see all the highlight videos of this team that you want in the world. Oh, it's so cool looking. But that's it. That's all they got. When it comes down to that big game, that team will be exposed because it's a team full of individuals. That team will break down. That team will lose that big game because you got that team full of individuals that only care about one another. They don't care about each other. They don't care about the team. They only care about getting that goal, getting that point. Let's skate up to the ref and make sure I got that goal. Let me skate up to the ref and make sure I got that point. if you're a team player, you don't care. I know, as you get to the older levels, it's all about points. It's all about this. It's all about that. Just so you can get into college, so you can get into whatever. I want to be able to say that my son or daughter is on a first-place team. They're number one in the country. First off, scouts don't care. Other coaches don't care. The coaches don't care about rankings, neither do the scouts. It's not doing anything for your future. It's absolutely not. But you can look for those first-place teams and those high rankings and what team has the players with the most points. I want my son on a first line with kids that don't pass or don't give a shit about anything besides themselves. Fine, go to those teams just to say that you're on them. Everybody is going to be exposed in the long run when you do these type of things. You will see it. It will happen. It's only a matter of time. It's not if, but when it's going to happen. But don't say I didn't warn you. Don't say I didn't tell you so.